Kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy. But the Indiana Fever just drew 2 million viewers without Caitlin Clark. That is mental. That is absolutely mental.
The numbers are in for the Indiana Fever Chicago Sky game. And I'm telling you right now, it's box office. God.
The 1,000 viewers, becoming the most viewed WNBA game on ION this season, despite Caitlin Clark's absence. The Caitlin Clark effect continues even when she's not on the court. Folks, this is a big deal.
Imagine for a moment that you're a TV executive. You've scheduled a primetime basketball game, banking on its superstar player to bring in millions of viewers. But right before the game, she's ruled out with an injury. Your historic television event should be a catastrophe, except it isn't. The game goes on to smash viewership records, becoming one of the most watched in 20 years, all while the star player sits on the bench in a hoodie, not playing a single second. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. This just happened, and it exposes a shocking truth about who really holds the power in the WNBA.
And I'm telling you right now, it did not stop the fans from wanting to watch this. I told y'all what it was. Long as we got to do is keep supporting the team, Caitlin Clark will be back in no time. Just as long as we make sure things stay on the up and up, everything's going to remain on the up and up. And now since we got Ari McDonald out there balling like there's no tomorrow, she's even more entertaining to watch anyways as of right now. She's giving life to the Indiana Fever fan base. So shout out to Ari McDonald in drawing this viewership. That's who I'm putting the numbers on. I'm telling you right now, without Caitlin Clark being there, people can say what they want. People wanted to see Ari McDonald ball out, bro.
The numbers themselves are mind-bending. The Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky game recently pulled in an average of 1.92 million viewers. To put that into perspective, it was the 8th largest WNBA audience for any game, regular season or playoffs, since 2001. This wasn't some obscure game buried on a niche sports channel. This was broadcast on CBS in prime time on a Saturday night. It was set up to be a monumental event, a showcase for the league's brightest new stars. Yet, the brightest star of them all, Caitlin Clark, was in street clothes. Logic dictates that the viewership should have plummeted. Instead, it soared, leaving everyone asking the same question: how? How does a player's gravitational pull become so strong that her mere presence on the sidelines is more compelling than the game itself? But while the world was stunned, one person saw an opportunity.
Goes on to say 1.9 million viewers for the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky game Saturday on CBS. The game Caitlin Clark missed due to injury. It's the third most watched WNBA game of the 2025 season. The Fever versus the Sky opened at 2.7 million, and Fever versus Liberty 2.2 million. And I'm telling you right now, guess who got the most views? The Indiana Fever. Hands down, the Indiana Fever got more views than any other damn team in the league. Telling you, bro, this team is single-handedly holding this thing up.
As the record-breaking numbers flashed across screens, Angel Reese was ready. If viewership had a red carpet, she was already posing for the cameras, ready to claim the spotlight as her own. In her version of reality, those 1.92 million people didn't tune in for a team they'd been following all season. They tuned in for her. Her social media was a masterclass in self-promotion, framing the ratings as undeniable proof of her own star power. She confidently presented herself as the main event, the engine driving the WNBA's newfound popularity. It was a bold narrative, positioning herself not just as a rival to Caitlin Clark, but as her equal in drawing power. She was essentially telling the world that the show would go on just fine, if not better, with her in the leading role. But that narrative was about to collide with a very inconvenient set of facts.
Doesn't matter who the Fever are playing. It does not matter who the Fever are playing, they're getting big viewership. They're getting massive viewership. And 1.92 million viewers is still crazy. Like, that is that's probably one of the top 15 most viewed WNBA games of all time.
So like, it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of like just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace.
Back to X, bro. Check out some of these comments, man. Let's check out some of these comments. But guys, I'm telling you right now, 1.9 million views without Caitlin Clark is exceptionally well. Exceptionally well, man. Exceptionally well. I can't even lie. I can't even make this up, bro. Can't even lie. Somebody said we'll see the numbers in 2 days for ESPN game tonight for Liberty versus Sky. Bro, like, we already know. So, Caitlin, like, we already know they're not going to have any views, bro. Caitlin Clark is still there. People will show up just to watch her on the sidelines. They don't care.
While Angel Reese was campaigning for credit, her performance on the court told a completely different story. In that massively watched game, she delivered a stat line so quiet you could barely hear it. She scored just 4 points. 4. It was a performance more memorable for its misses than its makes, a collection of awkward floaters and shots that barely grazed the rim. This wasn't a one-off anomaly either. The data reveals a bizarre trend in her game. For a player known for her aggressive post play, she has an almost unbelievable inability to finish near the basket. One diabolical stat making the rounds shows she has been blocked by opponents nearly as many times as she has successfully made a shot all season. Another revealed she's shooting under 60% from less than 5 feet away from the hoop, a number that is almost unheard of for a professional forward. Her performance wasn't just underwhelming, it actively undermined the very narrative she was trying to build. The superstar she claimed to be was nowhere to be found on the court. And that begged an even bigger question. If her performance didn't draw the crowd, what did? The answer was sitting just a few feet away, and she never even laced up her sneakers.
Atlanta Fever ended up tweeting out this statement, man. Check this out. Every seat filled. Oh my goodness. Every seat. No open seat. Are you kidding me? My goodness, man. Gamebridge was electric in today's home opener. Now you know. Oh man, that now you know is hitting harder than any flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark last year. My goodness, man. Nah, man, but for real, this is amazing. This is really amazing, man.
This is the Caitlin Clark effect, and it's a phenomenon that sports has rarely seen before. Her influence doesn't live on the stat sheet. It's a cultural force that reshapes everything around her. She has become a walking, breathing television event. Broadcasters understand this better than anyone. During the game, the camera would cut away from live-action plays, from fast breaks and defensive stops, just to show a shot of Caitlin Clark on the bench. A simple clip of her clapping for a teammate or talking to a coach would send social media into a frenzy. Her presence alone became a central plot point of the broadcast. She's no longer just a player. She's the league's operating system, the ghost in the machine whose gravity is so immense it can pull in millions of viewers without her even touching a basketball. People don't just watch her play, they orbit her. And that orbit is powerful enough to carry an entire league, even when she's just watching from the sidelines.
Angel Reese, part 38, let's get it! Life throws her lemons, she makes bricks. Bang! PSA to anyone watching, she is right-handed. Right-handed, by the way. She missed the rim by 3 feet, man. Bang! I gotta say, this is my favorite summer sitcom. Pecan? Butter pecan? Bang! Here's a stat. She's been blocked 20 times, and she's only made 21 hoops. What? Bang!
But it was obviously on TV. It says here, sorry, it was on CBS. So it had only 300k viewers less than Fever versus Liberty. And that is a mental one. That is actually a mental one. Like, it doesn't really, like, the Fever and Sky is a rivalry people seem to want to watch. Genuinely, it's a rivalry people seem to want to watch. And it's a rivalry people, people care about. You see here, obviously ahead of it, Annie Costable wrote about the history. And look, it's not even about the history. It's not about history. It's because of the storylines. It's because of the drama. It's because of all of this stuff.
Indiana Fever continue to fly high on the ratings when it comes to cable TV. Did this most recent meeting get them? Well, we are about to find out. Sans Clark, Fever Sky still among top 10 WNBA games since 2001. Despite the absence of Caitlin Clark, the Fever Sky rivalry delivered one of the top 10 largest regular season or playoff WNBA audiences in the past 2 decades on CBS prime time. Saturdays, Fever Sky WNBA regular season game averaged 1.92 million viewers on CBS, marking the 8th largest WNBA regular season audience since 2001.
However, to say this is all about Caitlin would be missing a crucial part of the story. Angel Reese, despite her on-court struggles, is absolutely essential to this spectacle. Their rivalry is the fuel that makes the engine roar. It's a perfectly scripted drama of opposites. The flashy, outspoken trash talker versus the quiet, surgical sharpshooter. Reese is the antagonist, the foil, the wild card whose unpredictable energy creates the tension that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. Every great story needs a villain, or at the very least, a compelling anti-hero. Reese plays that part to perfection. Her aggressive fouls, her stare-downs, her unwavering confidence in the face of criticism, it all adds layers to the narrative. She may not be the one selling the tickets, but she's a massive reason why the show is so DMN entertaining. Their dynamic has transformed women's basketball from a sport into must-see television, a reality show with jump shots. And the audience is eating it up.
Another diabolical stat. She's 19 of 59 from less than 5 feet away. How about that, man? Bang! She should work at housekeeping for hotels because she could turn it over quickly. Lost by 27, scored only 4 points against the Indiana Fever. To mention no Caitlin Clark, no problem, give and go. Like a given no shot of working. Bang!
You prefer a car or plane?
Car or plane for what? For how you want to travel! That's too many steps, and you can't do that.
Talk about what you guys are talking about, which is Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever. Yeah! On national TV, except ain't Caitlin Clark hurt? Yeah, so what a perfect time to shine if you're Angel Reese. The floor is all yours. A lot of people are saying she's the one that lit the torch and is carrying the torch for the WNBA. A lot of people are saying it's Caitlin Clark. No better chance to show and prove. Well, the response from that national televised game is a little disturbing.
So Angel Reese came out and had a 12 rebound, 4-point, 2 assist game in the absence of Caitlin Clark tonight. Angel, they're not coming for you. They're coming to watch the prodigal son or daughter, Caitlin Clark. So as the Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky by 29 points without Caitlin Clark, I asked the EBT community, do y'all have eyes?
The verdict from the fans has been swift and brutal. Social media feeds exploded with jokes and memes about the situation. There were countless posts about how Caitlin Clark adjusting her hoodie was the most exciting highlight of the game. Threads on Reddit were dedicated to analyzing her bench demeanor, while TikToks broke down her body language as if it were the Zapruder film. Fans were more invested in who she was talking to on the bench than who was scoring on the court. It's a hilarious but telling reality. Angel Reese could be out there giving 110% effort, sweating through her jersey for 30 minutes, and the crowd would still be chanting for a player in street clothes. This isn't just about fan preference. It's a complete shift in what the audience values. They're not just there for basketball anymore. They're there for the storyline, the drama, the moments. And right now, Caitlin Clark is the moment, even when she's doing absolutely nothing at all.
I have yet to see a single example of Angel Reese being a leader. Outside of rebounding her own missed layups, what does Angel Reese do? What is her contribution? You tell me, because I'm not seeing it. I know I'm harsh on Angel Reese, but she considers herself a star. If you're going to call yourself a star, I expect you to perform like a star, especially in big moments. Caitlin Clark was injured. Angel Reese was the only star on the court last night. And for 27 minutes, she completely disappeared.
How high would you say the ceiling is for Caitlin year 2?
Yeah, I mean,
what ceiling?
What did Michael? I always like to quote Michael Jordan in these moments.
The ceiling,
the
is,
ceiling
the
is the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was incredible last year. Learned a lot about the league, so she's just probably going to add not necessarily anything to her game. I know she worked out in the off season and talks about her strength and wanting to get more physical, but it's the experience part that as you get older in this league starts to show itself combined with the skill. So she knows the league now, and so that's dangerous. She's surrounded by a ton of talent. They did really well in free agency, but yeah, it's her second year, so it'll be fun to see like what adjustments she makes and what she did learn.
As a matter of fact, this might have been the first WNBA game broadcast on CBS in prime time. If it's not the first, it's one of very few. This was a big moment. I'm sure the WNBA would call it historic. Angel Reese is playing in an NBA arena in prime time on network television on Saturday night. Outside of regular season baseball, maybe the College World Series, there was no competition on television. The eyes of the sports world were focused on Angel Reese and the WNBA. And Angel Reese once again proved why no one is watching her.
In the end, this entire saga reveals an unspoken hierarchy in the world of sports. Angel Reese is trying to build a brand, hustling to create her own spotlight and manufacture her own media moments. She's working overtime, pushing her narrative on every platform, trying to convince the world of her value. But Caitlin Clark doesn't have to. Her value is self-evident. Reese is playing the game, but Clark is the game. The ultimate proof is that she can sit out with an injury and still be the most talked about, most watched, and most influential person in the entire league. She's quietly running the WNBA from a courtside seat, proving that true power isn't about how loud you are. It's about how much people listen when you're silent. Angel Reese might be chasing the moment, but Caitlin Clark is the one who creates it, and no amount of stats or stories can ever change that.